This episode of What About Pod brought to you by American Diabetes Testing Systems.
I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
I'm here. Let the bells ring out and the banners fly. Feast your eyes on me. It's too good to be true, but I'm here.
Recording live from the WAP studios. Welcome to What About Pod?
Oh, please, what is that? Don't tell me.
The podcast that turns something into nothing and further goes on about nothing.
Don't try and church it up, son.
I'm producer and resident doorstop Jay, along for the ride with your host, Chris Squires.
This is too much. I couldn't be more excited. The thought of it makes me pure completely mental, I must say.
Hey, what do you know? I think we just hit 25.
The big 2-5?
Hey, well, a quarter century.
I never thought we'd make it this far.
Or a quarter millennium. I guess it's not really a century. That denotes time.
This is true.
Yeah, so
the big 2-5.
Quarter millennium.
Who are some famous athletes that wear number 25 as their jersey?
Oh, dear Lord. I don't even know.
Richard Sherman from the Seattle Seahawks wears number 25.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you win.
Yeah,
there you go.
They got that one ready. So, welcome to What About Pod number 25. Chris,
welcome to you.
Yeah, well, welcome to you. I was going to say.
Welcome to you.
I'm sitting here with you.
And I'm sitting here with you.
That's all you need to know.
Thank you. Great podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening.
It's been great. So, Jay, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Did you know that we've had some breaking, I don't want to say breaking news, but I guess the investigation into David Beckham as the Northamtpon Clown has drawn a little bit to a close.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you've cornered David Beckham?
No.
You got an interview with Posh Spice.
I'm efforting an interview with the Northamtpon Clown. Don't tell anybody.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm working on that. I don't know how successful I'll be. I'll say we've had electronic conversations, and I'll leave it at that.
Electronic, because that is the new wave of the 21st century.
No one calls anybody anymore. We all do it. We all do it online. So,
calling people is impolite.
Funny how this started. I am a Twitter follower of all the guys on the Dan Patrick Show. And Paul Pabst, he's one of the producers, tweeted out that David Beckham is a principal investor in a new MLS team that's going to be based in Miami.
Really?
Yes. And so I kind of tweeted back to him. I said, so he's not the Northamtpon Clown? Because we were way off on that. To which the Northamtpon Clown favorited that tweet. All it takes is a hashtag here and an @sign there, and you're connected with the world, man.
And you do the hokey pokey.
Welcome to Twitter. So,
cool story, bro.
Well, Beckham's going to own the MLS franchise in Miami.
The Miami Clowns.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
That would be perfect.
There's absolutely no correlation. I'm not admitting nor confirming that I am the Northamtpon Clown, but the Miami franchise will be the Miami
Actually, be more like a leprechaun.
I'm not admitting I'm the Northamtton Clown.
Yes, no, but I'm not saying that I'm not.
Don't steal me gold. And then I got to dragnet it again.
Wow.
For the
3 times.
We're all over this because it turns
you.
out, well, I'm not going to say it's a theft because we didn't invent the story, but Tosh.0 on this very night that we're recording is now covering the Rasta Banana story that I slapped the crap out of the mic.
Yeah.
Because I'm
pisses me off too.
I'm furious.
Damn it.
So it turns out that Tosh.0, 3 months after we talked about it, is now giving the Rasta Banana, what was that guy's name? Henry? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, if we had,
poor bastard. He was buff and bald.
Yes. Well, I don't know about buff. He wore a tank top.
He was stout.
Yes.
The
Rasta Banana was Banana, Henry something?
I don't know.
Rasta
Do the names matter?
Banana. Well, I'd like to give the guy a shout out. He's on Tosh.0. I'm sure you'll catch him in reruns by the time. Wasn't it like Henry Gribble or something like that?
No, it wasn't. Not Gribble.
Gribhome?
Oh, yeah, Henry Gribble, yeah.
Is it Henry?
I think so.
New Hampshire man who lost his life savings. Here he is. Yeah, he's not buff, dude. He's
just portly.
He's got moobs.
Moobs. Yeah, God, he does.
The moobs like Jabba.
Henry Gribble. Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Every now and then a name will stick in my head. And Henry was one of those. So he gets his web redemption on Tosh.0 only like 4 months after we did this story on the podcast.
Well, maybe it takes time to book the web redemption.
Yeah, well,
It could be.
Film it or whatever. That's like on in an hour.
Either that or they're very, very lazy.
Well,
Shame on you, Tosh.
Well, they actually take breaks, unlike us. We work all the time.
All the time.
The government may have shut down. The podcast never stops rolling. So other good news on Stitcher. I check in on, I'm doing it less and less because I'm starting to be less and less concerned about like the how many's because it's so hard to figure out. We have last month's Stitcher numbers are in, and I didn't write down how many individual listens we have. It's about equivalent to what we do out of our podcast hosting partner, I guess, Libsyn.com.
All right.
But the people that do listen on Stitcher are some loyal MFers, man, because last month alone on Stitcher, people spent 21,923 minutes listening to the What About.
21,923 minutes?
Doing the math, that's 365 hours. That is
Wow.
also 1,315,380 seconds.
That's about 2 weeks of continuous podcast listening.
Yes. Well, amongst everyone out there. So if you're listening on Stitcher, God bless
Keep it
you.
up.
Yeah,
Thank
God
you. We
bless
appreciate that. And keep listening.
Yes.
It only gets better from here, people.
That's what they say, because we keep innovating.
Yes.
And by innovating, and speaking of innovation,
Do tell. I'm excited.
we have a brand new segment of which you have the honorable distinction of being, as of tonight, you are a piece of trivia.
Sweet. I've always wanted to be a piece of something.
Well, you are going to be a piece of trivia because we are starting our new, I'll call it long form interview, but it's really not that long form. For us, it is. Welcome to the What About Pod 6-Pack.
First, I would like to just get to know you.
Welcome to the What About Pod 6-Pack interview. One interesting guest, 6 questions, infinite answers. Let's see who our guest is today.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Immediately, indeed.
Yes, Arnold.
So, without really too much further ado, I give you our first interview victim. The first person ever to be formally interviewed on What About Pod is our very own producer Jay. Wow. Formal introduction.
You had to use that one, didn't you?
Yeah. So to make the ground rules, I guess, clear on the 6-pack,
All right.
I'm ripping off an interview style, although I don't know directly who from, and I'm directly ripping off James Lipton for one of the questions.
Sure.
So let's get started.
Shall we?
So Jay, for the record, this doesn't count as a question, but when and where were you born?
I was born June of 1975 in Fort Worth, Texas, to be precise.
Wow.
Carswell Air Force Base.
I had no idea you were an Air Force baby. See, I'm learning stuff.
That's right.
How can you say you're not interesting? I find this alluring.
Oh, it only gets better from here.
Well-
Stay glued to the podcast, people.
Well, let's see. So, Jay, first question. When you meet someone for the very first time, what do you want that person to think of you?
That I don't smell and that I have passable breath.
Well, let's go deeper.
Okay.
What do you want them to think of you as a person?
As a person.
Yeah.
That I'm a nice guy, I'm a go-getter.
Well, I mean, for the very first time they meet you, you want to know that you're a go-getter? A nice guy, I get. Or does funny come into it for you?
I tend to reserve that for about 4 to 5 visits in.
Wow.
The first 3 or 4 just kind of a get to know you. Hey, how's it going? Howdy do.
You don't
How are
bust
you?
out
Good.
any-
How are you?
Any knock-knock jokes till like the third day?
Clean my dishes, please.
I'm so glad you did that because
He doesn't get it.
All right, so the nice guy.
Overall.
All right, that's fair enough. What is your favorite curse word?
Douche face.
Douche face or douche in general?
I like douche. Douche
is
tard.
Douche, yeah, all right.
And douche in any kind of derivative.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Douche face, douche tard,
Douche nozzle.
douche canoe.
Ah, see? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
That's a passable answer.
Thank you. I thought so.
So, Jay, what is true happiness? And keep in mind, I'm keeping these very general. You can run with them in a variety of ways.
True happiness.
I didn't say true happiness for you. What is true happiness right now? I'm leaving this wide open. You can go backwards, forwards. What's true happiness?
Watching baseball with 5 different women catering to my every need with a bottomless plate of bacon and a faithful companion by my side, preferably a dog.
All right. I like it, actually. I guess attaining true happiness must be like floating in the ether, right? So you got to set it high.
Well, there's many interpretations of happiness. I'd have to say that's about it.
No, it's very fair.
I'd say so. With hanging out with Chuck Norris, too, would probably be up there, I think.
Well, maybe he could be
Chuck Norris and George Clooney.
Maybe he could be your faithful companion. Instead of the dog, you can have Chuck Norris.
I think I would be Chuck Norris's faithful companion.
Well, all right. So you could be Chuck. So happiness is being Chuck Norris's dog?
Sure. Why not?
Oh, my God.
This interview is going so great.
I love it.
I'm telling you.
What's something you do differently than most people? That's a hard one.
Wow, I really do have to think about this.
So as an example, I have noticed over many years that I tie my shoes differently than most people. I don't do the...
Really?
Yeah, I don't do the loop it, then twirl around and then pull the thing through. I make 2 little bunny ears and I flop them around and pull them together. Done.
I do that too.
More people, why are we chastised for that? People, are you tired?
Do people get chastised for that?
Hell yeah, you tie your shoes like an 8-year-old. You tie your shoes like an 8-year-old.
Who watches people tie shoes?
Hey.
Don't you have anything better to do?
Foot fetish people?
Ooh.
Well, I imagine women out there they go shoe shopping. They probably tie their shoes like we do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more people do it than we think. Maybe we are the silent majority. And
we could be.
We just don't know
That's
it.
right.
That's why the people that...
We could take over the world.
That's why the people that criticize you are so adamant about criticizing, because they're actually in the minority and they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
Got it. So what's something you do differently than most people? It could be anything. Work ethic. It could be, I don't know.
That makes me stand out?
No, it doesn't have to make you stand out. It just has to be something
different?
you do that you have noticed is different from what most people do.
You got an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to think that long.
Bandwidth's free, buddy.
Yeah, boy.
All right, we can move on to question 5. You can keep that one in the memory banks for a little bit.
Sure.
All right. Well, here's another wonderful interview question. What will you not tolerate?
I will not tolerate rudeness and...
Oh, rudeness. Are you talking about rudeness around you?
Well,
or
I'm talking
rudeness
about
to
people.
You?
I'm talking about people that constantly live life with their head up their ass, and that just drives me crazy.
But it's so warm up there,
and very, very smelly. But it smells nice because it's mine.
It's humid. So when you say you won't tolerate that, is that toleration within your own life, within your circle of friends? When people have their head up their ass in public places, do you walk up and punch them in the nose?
No, because I don't do that.
Well, because you're nice. Because that's what you want.
Because I'm a nice guy.
That's what you want everyone to know.
That's what I want people to think about me, that I'm a nice, approachable guy that's easy to talk to. Right.
Oh, so now we're going back on question 1. You want to be easy to talk to and a nice guy. I think that's admirable.
And I should say this, I don't lash out at anything or anybody. I'm just not wired that way.
Right.
But I get real unsettled, for lack of a better word, when, okay, for instance, you're driving and you get cut off.
Right.
And you don't see any real discernible reason why.
Sure.
Yeah. Or somebody slams on the brakes right in front of you for no reason. I mean, why?
Right.
You know, what's the point? What did you see?
I don't tolerate people that are oblivious to me. I can only impact how I'm treated, right? Mm. And how I treat others, obviously. But
sure.
People who are oblivious to me or to my situation, I don't tolerate that very well at all. And, example of that would be someone who is so wrapped up in themselves that they can't see the forest for the trees. So, I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say. You say it so much better than I do.
Well, it just doesn't make for a very good friend or acquaintance or anything, anything like that. Is someone that is just, it ties into your head up the acidness.
Yes, acidness.
The cranial rectal inversion.
Yep. Something they call that?
Yes.
Inversion?
Yes, it's the inversion.
Not
a version, because they're not averse to it.
No.
But that comes with familiarity, at least to the point that you have to at least be an acquaintance to someone for them to be oblivious to who you are and what you feel, right? I mean, if it's just a guy on the street, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the traffic thing doesn't play for me, because what do they know? Number one,
I guess it's a I'm not going to say a bad example, maybe a poor example.
I think it's a great example of someone that you wouldn't want to surround yourself with.
Oh, definitely not.
But it's the obliviousness of it all that once you know someone, if they are thoroughly oblivious, like just doing thoughtless things that, I don't know, I won't say will hurt your feelings. It makes it sound really whiny, but you know what I mean? I mean, doing things without any forethought of intention. I guess that would be why. I'd have a hard time tolerating that. I won't say I've put people out of my lives. It sounds really dramatic.
Boy, this has kind of turned serious.
Well, yeah, it should be.
Okay.
At least a little bit. I've avoided people for that. Absolutely. I think you should. I think it's like self-preservation, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Fair enough. So we need to circle back to something that you do differently than most people. You can't pass. You're going to have to come up with something.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it doesn't have to be like remarkably differently. Think of your idiosyncrasies.
What are idiosyncrasies to others I find perfectly normal.
Right, but what's something you do differently than most people?
I don't think I go like day to day to day and say like trim my toenails or wash my hair or get in the car and say, oh, I do all this differently. And
there's got to be something you can think of that you do and you're like, huh, this guy doesn't do it that way. Or this gal doesn't do it that way. I do it this way. It could be a work thing. It could be an interpersonal relationship thing. You got to figure something out, man.
Yeah, I know it. Boy, I'm drawing blanks here.
All right, I'll let you off the hook on that one for a while. Because the sixth and final question.
Okay.
Which will wrap up our six-pack every week.
Okay.
Who would win in a fight? A pirate or a ninja?
Ninja.
And
easily.
Why?
Because the ninja's quick and you don't see him coming. And the pirate has poor vision because of their eye patches and...
They're probably drunk, too.
Yeah, probably drunk. Exactly. Yeah. Ninja hands down.
I guess I'm going to have to like sharpen my who would win in a fight skills over the next few weeks until our next interview because, yeah, the second I asked him, I'm like...
Yeah, ninja, no doubt.
Ninja would kick his ass.
Exactly, yeah. Smoke screens, ninja stars, swords. I mean, a pirate's got a sword, but you kind of see him as a frontal assault when he attacks you. The ninja's stealthy, man. He's invisible. He blends in. He's a mercenary.
Frontal Assault was the name of the first porn I ever did. Sorry.
I thought it was Sending the Clowns.
No, that was my retirement film.
Oh, gotcha.
That was when I had to get out of the industry.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to let you off the hook for number 5, but I need an answer by the end of the show. That was six-pack. Producer Jay, you were a very admirable. You efforted that very diligently. You will be, like I said.
Wow. Thank you.
You will be the answer to a trivia question. Who was the very first person interviewed on What About Pod?
When we get all wildly rich and famous from doing just this.
And no one's even going to say, when they're asked that question, people aren't going to say, oh, it's Producer Jay. All they're going to say is, rah, 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 and then everyone just will automatically know who that is. So let's get out of our interview. Do we have news this week?
We do.
From the news studios, it's the What About Pod News, starring Producer Jay, with commentary from the man himself, smartest man in the universe. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, let's start with a story of love gone wrong.
Doesn't it always?
It does. Yeah, we got a studio audience now.
I love our laugh track.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never used this very much before.
Yeah, that's a great laugh track.
Clean my dishes, please. See? They laugh at anything.
He doesn't get it.
Story of love, as you were.
Unfortunately, this story of love, much like Romeo and Juliet, had a less than desirable ending.
Fair enough.
Two lovers.
Star-crossed lovers.
A 30-something-year-old woman and her 41-year-old Lothario.
Lothario, wow.
Were victims of a train accident while making passionate love on the tracks.
You know, we talked about this, or we send these back and forth throughout the week. And yeah. I was reading this, and I was trying to think of, and maybe this is like an indictment. I hope not.
An indictment of who?
Of me.
Of you.
I don't think I've ever been so, well, here we go back to oblivious. I don't think I've ever been so sexually oblivious to the point where I wouldn't notice a train coming.
Well, you note in the story that they were both drunk.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've had drunk sex before.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you.
Huzzah.
Thank you. Yay, me. Yay. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever been that drunk and enraptured not to notice a big train coming.
Well, God, I was drunk one time. I was having sex with some girl on a picnic table in the dark, 20 feet away from my dormitory. Rah, 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 rah. Cool story, bro.
Well,
That was a long time ago.
Well, no, yeah. I think when you're young, I think you can be
more adventurous.
Right. Exhibition.
Impetuous.
Right. And exhibitionist.
Didn't really care.
Well, and I don't think maybe it doesn't have anything to do with age. But you're on the picnic table, and if there was a big locomotive coming towards you, not to mention the fact that they're on the tracks, right?
Yeah.
So you know that's where trains go.
Yeah. Well, duh.
Did they fall asleep after? I mean, it says while they were having
No, they
sex.
were doing it.
That's my whole point.
Yeah. They were just so rearing to go that they just did it right on the tracks. And I'm going to get to the questions that's burning in everybody's mind here in a minute. But the woman died. Her 41-year-old partner lost his legs. Both his legs.
I'm Wilford Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
No, it's not diabetes. No, it's not diabetes. It's a train.
Yeah, it's a train.
Totally different reason for losing your legs.
Okay. So I'm going to wrap this story up with one burning question. What position were they in?
Let's do the math.
Yeah.
She died.
I thought we had a rule, no math.
Well, it's sex math, so it's different.
Oh, okay. Well, that flies.
Yes, this is
sure.
This is at
totally
least,
flies.
Yes, it's almost like beer math, sex math. It's totally different kind of math,
but it works.
So she died, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The bit we're missing is where his legs were severed.
Right.
This has lost both his legs. Doesn't say from like the knee down or whatever. So obviously, and the other thing is she might have bled out or something, right? I mean, she could have had her legs cut off too. They both could have had their legs cut off, right? Which would indicate a missionary, perhaps.
Maybe.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how.
But that's not going to work.
How does one person die and another person just lose their legs?
Well, maybe they were, but that doesn't add up either.
Yeah, this is we really need like a dry erase board.
Yeah, we need
some markers.
We need one
out.
of those crime reenactment things.
Where's our investigation discovery scene of the crime?
There you
thing?
go.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
You know,
okay.
Yeah, where they do
that
reenactment. Yeah,
absolutely.
That would be great for our YouTube channel.
That would be awesome.
The reenactment of
the two Ukrainian lovers,
and then shoot a bunch of ketchup in the air.
Very low budget.
Shoot it all over me.
Used. Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh my god! Rah, rah, rah,
all right.
Did not
say
that.
I think it's time we move on to our next story, please.
Well, speaking of humanish creatures, chimpanzees.
Some of my favorite people are chimpanzees.
That's right. Me too. Okay, first off, when I read these stories, I hate how it takes 3 or 4 paragraphs to get to the meat of the story. In an interview published this Sunday, blah, blah, blah,
right.
Professor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they got to give all those credits out ahead of time. But
that drives me freaking crazy. Just get to it. Chimpanzees are smarter than humans.
We'll just get to the...
According to the study done by Daisuke Matsuzaka of Kyoto University's Primate Research in Inuyama, Japan.
That dude pitches for the... Where is he pitching?
Cleveland Indians.
Ah, there you go.
And he's also a professor at Kyoto University.
That's Tetsuro Matsuzawa.
Ah, man, it looks so alike.
Tetsuro Matsuzawa. Matsuzawa-san. Hi.
We love you, Japan.
Yes. So tell me about these chimps.
They have better short-term memory than humans do, according to a 30-year research.
How do they remember that
they
long?
did? Beats me.
30 years. That's not short-term.
I have problems remembering what happened 30 seconds ago.
Sometimes, yeah, I definitely do too. Well,
but there you go.
At, like concentration, you know, or like, what was that game with the shit that lit up and you push the buttons?
Simon.
Yes, I was going to say Merlin.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Merlin was the red light thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And about 90% of our audience under the age of 30 just said, what the fuck are they talking about?
What on earth? Yeah, it's
Simon.
I know, right?
Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's green, red, blue, and what was it, purple?
Purple and red.
Purple, red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm being any good at it now, but I used to have really good runs on Simon. So my short-term memories.
I did too.
Okay.
I remember that. Well, here's the test that they ran on the chimps, who were 3 adult females.
Well, that's not fair.
And their
remember
3 5-year-old offspring.
Well, women remember everything.
So you have 6 chimpanzees
All right.
and various students from the university They were tested on their ability to memorize the numbers 1 through 9 appearing at random locations on a touchscreen monitor.
Okay.
And, of course, the chimps, high-order mammals.
Right.
Right? I think that's the proper terminology.
I think that would be correct.
They were taught the ascending order of the numbers.
Okay.
So what they did was using...
Even that's pretty good. They passed the Ames test in Arizona just for that.
Yeah, so they used something similar to photographic memory in humans. They were more or less able to memorize the location of the numerals.
Right, like
than the humans.
Like memory.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Game of the cards. Yeah.
Right. They scored higher than the humans.
I want to say it's amazing, but I almost think that a brain with less clutter.
That's one thing I wanted to talk about too, was the clutter in the human mind.
Well, yeah, the chimps have nothing to think about other than,
like, food or what have you, and learning,
sniffing it, and then eating some
where
food.
Where are they going to throw it?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't imagine there's a clutter that goes on in chimpanzees.
Wow.
Did I get that right?
I don't know. I think there's
chimpanzees.
Hey,
screw it. I'm going with it.
Put on a Jimmy hat, or you're gonna get some chimpanzees. I want to go to the clinic. I got some chimpanzees.
My Jimmy runs deep. So deep.
I'm pretty sure I got some chimpanzees on it. I think it's chimpanzees, just like a moose and moose. Chimps, done.
Chimps.
Book it.
Chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees.
Sweet.
Nice.
I love it.
These goddamn chimpanzees is everywhere. That's like the Planet of the Apes or something. They'd invade Kentucky. These goddamn chimpanzees. They're everywhere.
Hey, there you go. Hey, where's that
So
then?
chimps are smarter than humans.
In short-term memory.
So move on.
All right. Well, this man in Tennessee, he was seeing gorillas in the mist in his home.
Nice.
Yeah. And Sigourney Weaver wasn't there. He took his shotgun and started firing at gorillas inside his house. There were gorillas inside his house, apparently. And he was in a shooting position while sitting in his recliner. Turns out there weren't any gorillas.
Shocking.
Around. Yeah, I know. What a shock. There were no drugs involved.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine.
I don't think...
There's no way in hell this could be tied to drugs in any way whatsoever.
Hell no. I've never dropped acid and seen snakes crawling in the wall.
Yeah, and...
Wait a minute.
I mean, it certainly can't be a mental health thing either, right?
Oh, no.
Because normal people do this.
Yes. Well, normal people in Tennessee absolutely do it.
You know it. Tennessee, that magical wonderland.
The magical wonderland of gorillas and chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees and Tennessee's.
We just invented a word.
Yes. Come and see our chimpanzees down here in Tennessee's.
Hallelujah, praise the Jesus.
Praise the Jesus and chimpanzees. It walks a fine line between creationism and Darwinism. Praise Jesus and the chimpanzees.
Surprisingly, he was taken to a nearby hospital. And nobody filed charges.
Well,
it was in his own house.
Yeah,
I mean, that's okay.
Well, it just depends on,
if you see, what if you saw, like, imaginary cats running through here and you had a gun?
I'm not a big, shooting, BB gun, maybe.
BB gun.
I wouldn't want to shoot up my house.
Yeah. Well, you can't shoot cats either. Well, they're just so cute.
I would never. No, I would never. I'm down with all animal abuse. I'm not, meaning thumbs down, not, I'm down to do it.
Not cool with animal abuse either.
No, I feel bad for the kids that felt the need to abuse animals because it probably means they had a really shitty home life and probably
they're lashing out,
beat up, or
became
something.
Serial killers later on.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
So move on. What's our cat story of the week this week, Jay?
It's time for Producer Jay's Cat Story of the Week.
All right. Yes.
Cat story is back again.
My very own feature. Okay, well, it's a shame that we don't live in Paris, Chris.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Right. Well, I mean, they got great wine, they got great cheese. They certainly know how to fight.
Yeah, not fight?
Well, by fighting, I mean waving white flags.
Yes. Don't offend our fine French listeners.
Yes. We love
the
French. We love the French.
We love the French, and they, yes.
In a very general, lighthearted kind of way.
And they love the karaoke blast over there.
Rah, 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 ah, ah. Oh, Frenchie.
God.
Lieutenant Steve.
Tell me about why we should feel bad about not living in Paris.
Because they have the Café des Chats in the heart of the capital chic Marais district, where a dozen or so cats will just traipse and gallivant around and make their customers at the restaurant feel better.
So it's like a bar with stray cats.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, so if you're looking for pussy, there you go.
Oh.
But you knew that was coming. That's just wrong.
That was wrong.
So wrong.
All right. I give you partial credit for that.
Well, you got to take it where you can get it. Okay. Well, they opened this place because there's a lot of Parisians.
Parisians. There you go.
Boy, I'm just butchering. Do they have chimpanzees over there?
Chimpanzees and Parises. Them Parises love chimpanzees.
Yes, they do.
Now, all of a sudden, you being born in Texas makes a lot of sense. So it's a stray cat bar.
It is a stray cat bar, and they opened it because there's a lot of Parisians that can't keep cats in their apartments.
That makes sense.
So
if you like cats, you can go have a beer and
get some pussy.
Play with a cat.
Play with pussy.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. This story takes a slight left turn. The cafe manager says the potential health benefits of purr therapy are real. So you have the cats running around purring, and purring produces vibrations which relieve arthritis and rheumatism, which lower your blood pressure and your heartbeat.
Well, I know it's been proven that if you're like sitting with a cat, if you dig cats or a dog, any animal that doesn't,
all 18 of them, you know who you are, people.
So if you dig an animal, whether it be dog, cat, whatever house pet you have, and petting it automatically drops your blood pressure. Ridiculously.
It's relaxing.
I don't know about purring, the purring relieving
therapy.
arthritis.
It seems like a very new age,
I think if your
touchy-feely approach.
If your blood pressure goes lower, I think like your overall health improves. Maybe not by leaps and bounds, but arthritis gets solved slightly, right? Because your heart's not beating at 1,000 miles a minute. Your blood pressure's a little bit lower, and you're
right.
Calmer.
You're relaxing.
So that makes sense. But to say that the purring of the cat and the vibrations of the cat,
it's a little hokey. I'm with that. But the cafe is so far a raging success. They've had to turn away over 300 potential customers.
I would assume that would be. Provided that the cats aren't rabid.
And they maybe have had shots.
Well, and they're crapping all over the
shots for the shots.
I imagine you don't bring them inside. The picture in the story looks like they're maybe in a patio, maybe not. Maybe that is inside.
An atrium, perhaps.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem that. You'd have to have litter boxes. I don't think it'd ever happen here. I think the local health authority, wherever you live, would probably smash that down in a heartbeat.
I'm sure.
Serving food where there's stray animals.
Yeah. That would be a huge no-no. That would be a very unforgivable health code violation.
Yeah, I would think so too. But I agree with the petting of the cats, and it makes sense.
Too.
Well, it makes sense now that you said that there are strict apartment regulations on cats. That makes more sense.
Sure. And here's the other rule about the restaurant too: is anybody that acts untowards towards the cat, calls it a name or throws beer on it or something,
or kicks it or whatever,
yeah, what have you. They'll evict the customers, but cat shenanigans are allowed.
Yeah, well,
because, quote, cats are cats.
I think you just need
anybody that's been around cats knows this to be true. Cats are cats.
I think the best performance art in the world would be to put a cat in a glass box filled with horizontal blinds and just sit there and watch.
Maybe some cardboard.
There's this cat, and he was really super cool looking, and I'm not a cat guy at all. But this cat was really cool, and he was always there. I was working graveyards. He was always there in the morning. He'd be out all night long. So, 6 or 8 a.m., depending on what time I got off work, he'd be right outside the door. It worked out great, because I gave him a bath. I fed him every morning. And then when I went to work at midnight, I just put the cat out with me. Done and done. And then by the time he was done gallivanting and I was done working, he'd come in and just go to sleep. Done. Perfect. I didn't need a litter box. I didn't need anything.
Nice.
Until one time, I woke up in the morning on a Saturday, and he was sitting there by the door. I let him in. I'm like, well, I got to go to the grocery store. So I went to the grocery store, came back, I shit you not, 15 minutes later, and every horizontal blind in the apartment was completely freaking ruined. The cat went absolutely apeshit. So that
I know how that goes.
that was about the end of my relationship with owning, quote unquote, owning cats.
Cool story, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jay, I know you said that the vocal pauses this week were outstanding. Do you have those ready?
Why, certainly.
Let's do it.
But actually, don't we have to get back to one of your burning questions?
So I guess we'll go back. So what is something you know you do differently than most people?
I produce vocal pauses. Would you like to hear them now?
Do it. Is that the Chipmunks?
That was the Chipmunks.
We're the Chipmunks. Yeah.
That's what I do differently than other people. Sometimes I can speak like a chipmunk.
You can certainly edit us all to sound like chipmunks.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, that was like the 80s series of
It
the
was.
Chipmunks.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like,
The animated series.
One of many incarnations of the Chipmunks.
Though that was the one I remember.
Let's get the hell out of here. Oh boy. So our first interview in the books, one of
Smashing
many.
success.
Absolutely. And, other fun stuff like normal. So for producer Jay, it's Chris saying until next time, bite me.
You've been listening to What About Pod, a part of the Mixed Media Network. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at What About Pod. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher. Download the Stitcher app today on Android or Apple platforms. This show brought to you by a soggy cookie and Lance Armstrong's non-existent nut. Until next time, Quadroon.